Hey everybody, my name is Jeremy Granado, and I'm here with Queen Bee's Honey. Valerie is the main owner. She will be in a video tomorrow. Today it is like 24 degrees here in West Texas. We're based out of San Angelo, Texas, and I just want to make a quick video about having goals for the year, starting to prepare early for what you have planned. The last thing you want to do is go through the bee year and something crazy happens and you don't have enough equipment, or you're not ready for it, or you don't have the time to be doing what you should be doing. So I did want to make this video to explain some of our goals, some of our numbers at where we're at, where we want to be, and what we do. Just a little bit about ourselves. We have 4 kids. We have a full-time job. Valerie stays home with our youngest, and she's the one in charge of all the crafts and social media, a lot of the social media, a lot of the posts, and then also, finding vendors and stuff like that, which this year we plan to be a lot more involved. Last year we had just moved back out here from Georgia, and we had to start from scratch. So last year was more of a building year. We did sell, 400 pounds of honey, and it went quick, but we have set a high goal this year, and I'd rather, set a high goal, and if we don't meet it, we're still, 10 times further than what we expected to be, or what we were last year. About us, our kids help us sell. Valerie makes all the crafts, all the candles, lotion bars, all the pretty packaging and everything that looks good. I kind of help more on the B side, that does all the dirty work. I get stung all the time, and that's just part of it, and we make a really good team doing all the stuff together. We are also, I'm the president of the local bee club, the Contra Valley Beekeepers Association, and Valerie's the secretary. We just got elected this past month, which is pretty awesome, and that works. We're really excited for that, to be more involved with the community, trying to get some beginner classes out there. And out here in West Texas, it's a lot different than beekeeping in Georgia, because Georgia, there's beekeepers everywhere. You have bees everywhere. You have all the vegetation. The bees are a lot calmer. I used to do bee removals without a suit, and out here, they're just super mean. They will chase you like no other. Some of them do have Africanized genetics, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. I want to post a lot more videos throughout the season, so you could see us, how we try to, or I guess not how we try to, but how we actually go through the year from start to finish. So I do plan on posting more updates. And I did forget one thing. We actually have microphones that I may test really quick, but I think right now in my garage, the sound is fine. But I know recording videos when I'm out, inspecting colonies, you can't hear me because it's super windy here, or the bees are attacking the phone. So I will have some better audio for y'all, and try to have some better videos. Another thing that I could talk about is I'm also a mentor for Hives for Heroes. I have 2 mentees under me that are veterans. I was a veteran as well. I was in the Marine Corps. But I love to teach. I love to help people out. And it's awesome when I get 2 veterans that either struggle with PTSD or need a hobby, and able to actually teach them, guide them, and show them. So if you have ever thought about being a mentor for Hives for Heroes, or you never heard of Hives for Heroes, go ahead and look them up. Steve Jimenez runs it, I think based out of here in Texas, but it's nationwide, and it is a great program. With that being said, I will have extra help this year, so I may have someone to hold a video while I'm able to do inspections. A lot of times I'm just hurrying up, trying to get through the colonies, because I have so many that I need to go through in so little time. But like I said, I did want to mention our goals, which is what everybody should do before the season starts, so you can get ready for it. We finished with only around 30 colonies last year. I'm kind of babysitting a few hives for a friend that I'm going to make some splits off of, because he just don't have the time for it. So we're trying to help each other out with that aspect. But as you see behind me, I have around 75 boxes that are already ready. Granted, only about 60 of them are painted. There's 500 frames, or maybe 600 frames. I got to re-wax them, but they're all ready for when it's time to go out. Now, to do all that, I had to buy boxes, use boxes, make stuff, buy wax to re-wax, pressure wash stuff, clean it. And I've been doing this for the past couple of months, and last thing you want to do is have a need for a bunch of equipment and not have it ready, because if all of a sudden you're doing an inspection and you see a swarm cell, you want to go ahead and make that split so you don't lose those bees. You want to have that equipment ready and on hand. So going back to what I was saying is, set your goals. Do you want to just stay at 2 colonies? Do you want to get to 50 colonies? Do you want to produce more honey? Do you want to expand and produce more colonies? Well, with us, like I said, we're only sitting around 25, 26 right now because we have had some dead outs with the winter. I tried to get a few small colonies through the winter, and they were doing okay and dwindling down, and of course the cold would get them. So I do make a lot of splits. This year I plan on producing a lot more honey than last year, but also expanding by doubling and hopefully tripling to where I'm at now. We had a lot of mesquite honey last year. Not really. We had to start last spring, so we had a couple 100 pounds, maybe about 150 pounds of mesquite honey, and cotton honey was really good for us. So I would like to just, expand like crazy. So now I'm saving money for better honey extracting equipment, extractors, uncappers, different tools, buckets, bottles, label designs. Valerie's making all kinds of crafts and everything. And you'll be able to see a lot of Valerie's work tomorrow. I'm going to try to make another video with her where she could kind of show y'all some of the crafts that she's been making. We've been designing logos together, ordering labels, making connections with people in town, trying to get places where we could actually sell some of our products and honey. So that is all need to be done way before the season starts, because last thing you want is just harvest a couple 100 pounds of honey and have no place to sell it. We need to have farmers markets, anything like that. But what I want to show y'all, like I said, I have all these boxes ready. I'm making nucleus colony boxes. I am getting ready to buy queen cells and mated queens. Out here, we have a lot of pretty aggressive genetics. There's a lot of, I guess you could say, Africanized bees out here. A lot of DNA from that where they're really aggressive. Back in Georgia, I never had to wear a suit when I did bee removals. It was very rare that I did, but I'd usually just do it with my hat backwards, start cutting in, and they wouldn't even mind. But out here, you even walk past a bee colony and you're getting lit up pretty good. There's a couple times where I have actually panicked, and I do have some videos where you can just see them all across my veil. But I'm trying to work on requeening. Last year I did purchase a few queens from Corilla Farms in California. And those bees right now, even to this day, are super calm genetics. They actually stay on the frame. I could just touch them with my hands, no gloves, and they're fine. So I love those genetics. This year I am going to buy a lot of queen cells. I would like to buy mated queens, but the fact that I want to expand so much, that's just not realistic for me to buy 50 mated queens. That'd be expensive. So I'd rather buy 25, 50 queen cells and let them mate. So, genetically, some aggressive colonies and some calm genetics, they should at least dilute it a little bit and be a little bit more workable and calmer. But I do want to get an actual breeding program out here, because eventually I do want to sell bees, I do want to sell nooks, I do want to sell queens. But this year, my main goal is, well, there's two of them really. We want to produce a lot more honey, and we want to produce a lot more bee colonies. And to do that, that's kind of a balancing act. You don't really focus on both of them. You usually do one or the other, because if you're going to produce a lot of honey, you want to make sure they're healthy, drawing, getting big and strong. But if you're focusing on getting more numbers, you're just splitting like crazy. So I want to say, hey, I want 20 honey production colonies for spring and make 30 splits, okay? And then in the fall, I want to make 40 honey production colonies, or 50 even, and then afterwards buy a bunch of mated queens with money I made from the honey and make another 45 splits to get into winter. And that's what I did last year. Was the cotton flow helps out so much, where we could build colony, draw out comb. I purchased mated queens then, and those bees are doing great this spring. I mean, it hasn't really been cold until right now. It's about 24 degrees outside. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow is supposed to be below 30 with a little bit of sleet and snow. And the rest of this year has been crazy so far. Early January, we were in the 70s. Then we had about 3 days that were like 11 degrees to 20 degrees. And then it got warm again. And now again, it's cold. So I did do inspections a couple weeks ago, and the bees were brooding up pretty good. I had a few colonies that had only 1 or 2 frames of brood. Now, granted, is a patch about that big, but I did have a few colonies that were 4 and 5 frames of brood. So now that it's, by this weekend, it'll be 3 weeks later, I'm gonna start equalizing. I'm gonna go ahead and start balancing out, seeing who needs help or who I just need to pinch any queens if they're not producing and go ahead and merge them. I'm also going to start adding boxes, even though it's pretty early in February. I saw drones last inspection 2 weeks ago. Very few, but there were some drones walking around, and I did pull some boxes apart where there was some drone comb with some purple-eyed drones in there. So I do believe it is going to be early spring, but I'm just going to show you around what I have out here. A goal here is, I'm working out of my shop, and not even my shop, it's my garage. And we have our washer, dryer, freezers, storage bins for moving, workout equipment. And it's pretty hard to be able to build boxes, stack all this stuff, and a goal for next year, either get a shop or a honey house, and continue to expand, because I do want to be at 75 to 100 colonies this year. 125 would be even better. And then next year, 200, 250, and so on. So what every beekeeper needs to do, whether they're beginners, hasn't started, intermediate, or advanced, you have to set a goal. I've seen people on Facebook, they say, what should I do? Should I buy 3 more packages or a nook, or should I just split my bees? And that's kind of up to you. Do you want to spend money on buying nooks and packages, or are your colonies too strong and you're able to take a split off them by still getting honey? Or are you buying mated queens? Are you going to wait for swarm cells? That's all up to you and how you're going to operate your whole operation. So what I plan on doing is making about 7 queen castles. I do want to have a sustainable apiary. Right now we have 3 different bee yards. I'd like to get up to like 6 or 7. Just have them spread out. Here in West Texas, you don't want to put a lot of bee colonies in one property, because the resources, when they're scarce, they're scarce. I mean, in Georgia, you could put 50 bee colonies in a yard, no problem. They will all produce honey. They'll all bring in pollen. They're doing it great. Here, 10, 12, probably the max. So I do want to be able, I have to find more property, which I have. I've already started looking for that. I already got equipment ready. The only things I need to do is make some tops and bottoms. I'm thinking about going ahead and switching to 2-way pallets, because eventually I do want to be able to either get a forklift, a flatbed truck, where I'm able to move bees easily, not one by one. It's hard when a box gets to a double deep and I'm trying to carry it by myself, bulky, or someone has to help me, and trying to rely on other people is kind of hard, because it might be just a random day during the week saying, hey, we need to move some bees, and no one's available. It's hard on myself for it just be me doing it. So I do want to move to 2-way pallets eventually. Is that going to happen this year? I'm not sure. That'd be great. And then use my friends, forklift or something like that whenever it comes to moving bees. So all this stuff has been in the works. We have a lot that we are excited for this year, producing honey, products, bees. With the Beekeepers Association, I did mention I was going to sell some bees or queens and stuff like that. And some things came up where I'm probably not this year after all. I'm going to try to get every colony I can. And we do bee removals. I did about 30 last year, which was a good year for coming out here and not knowing the area, not having the connections or the word of mouth out there. We did 1 this year so far, the second day of the year, and that was a great colony. But the good thing about doing the bee removals is, I'm able to take the actual resources and give it right back to the bees. And you cannot sell the honey here in Texas from the bee removals. But what I can do is any extra honey or anything that's all nasty and spill everywhere, I'm able to feed it back to my bees to help supplement. So that works great. Then I'm able to melt the beeswax down, render it down, make wax products. So the good thing about that is, yes, I'm getting more genetics in. The bad thing about it is there is a lot of aggressive colonies, so I will have to requeen them. So I do want to run 10 nucleus colonies at least at a minimum, to be a sustainable apiary, just to have mated queens all the time if I have a dead out. Or last year I struggled with several laying workers, I'll be able to just throw a nook in there and just say, all right, I don't have to kill this colony, or not kill this colony, but disassemble this colony. I could just add a nook in there and boom, they're queen right again. So I've got goals to build more tops, build more boxes, build more nuke boxes, build some queen castles. And I'm just gonna give y'all a walk around really quick. And I know this may be a long video and I'm sorry, but I am trying to produce better videos, more in-depth videos, I should say, and have a better sound quality. We do have microphones that I'll be using this year. So you can see those stack white boxes. I've got about 54 boxes with frames that are ready. Feeders, these were all old boxes that I cut in half and threw away all the bad stuff. And I'm making nucleus colonies out of them. And you could see all I did was add a wall to them. Now I just need a top, bottom, which I have bottom boards right here I'm making for the nooks. And bam, we got nucleus colonies on bottom boards. I still got to paint this stack of colonies over here, or boxes over here. This stack here is drawn comb, not including what I have in the freezer. Some equipment back there. I mean, we've got a bunch of boards back here. Excuse my mess, but we got a bunch of boards ready to build tops and bottoms and vacuums and stuff for the removals, queen excluders. We've got more boxes here that I'm going to make into queen castles. They're unassembled. I've got a couple stacks of old frames and comb that I could pressure wash clean, re-wax everything, and get ready for the season. So moral of the story is what I'm saying is set your goals, prepare for it, start early, get ready, and be ready for an awesome bee season. So we'll have more videos coming out soon. I'm not trying to be like a famous YouTuber or anything like that, but I do want to keep you up to date with what I do, what my goals are, and trying to reach, I'll say, the goal to 100. How about we say that? And I'll just keep that as a playlist on YouTube or something like that. So thank you.